July 2025. An agent deleted an entire live database. This happened during a code freeze. The agent panicked and deleted the database. The output was massive. 1,200 executive records were gone. 1,200 company records were gone. In order to cover this, what the agent did, it faked 4,000 users. The company director asked the AI to roll it back, but AI told him, that's impossible. All database versions are destroyed. In the same month, another issue occurred. Gemini hallucinated its way through a directory that never really existed, tried to move files there and deleted the old files. Everything was gone. A lot of valuable information to the company simply gone. Also here, the user tried to roll it back, but when the AI was asked for it, it told the user that it has failed and completely, catastrophically destroyed everything. It committed to gross incompetence. This is vibe coding. This is what you tell the AI, what you want, you hope for the best, and you find out at some point that your entire production is gone. This is not what we want to have. We want to have something different. This is AI-assisted software development. And this is what we will teach in this course. We will teach how to do it properly. The tools stay the same, but the discipline is a different one. It's inspired by best practices in software engineering and software architecture. My name is Maro Mayoba. I've been in this domain of software architecture and software development for a long time. Let's get started with how you build your AI applications properly and jump into AI-assisted software development. Let's now have a look at the agenda, how you get from a ticket to a merge pull request. We have 4 seasons with 24 episodes. By the end of this series, you take a ticket and you ship it as reviewed, tested, CI-passed pull request. Claude does the keystrokes for you. You do the engineering judgment, so you stay in control of that. Let's now have a look at what can you expect from season 1. This is where we are right now. We are in the foundations. This is where we lay the groundwork for all the work you do in the following seasons. We set up the first prompts, use Git as a safety net. We look at prompts that don't produce Slop, how you can read the code base with Claude, and how you can deal with Claude.md. Season 2 is more about the workflow. We look at how you deal with sub-agents, how you build up MCPs, how you use hooks, and how you use slash commands in that. Season 3 is about getting to production. We look at how you can test your code with Claude, how you do refactoring safely, how you do AI-assisted code review, CI integration, and dependency management. Season 4 and the last one of this is about agents. We look at multi-agent orchestration, how you build your custom MCPs, and how you do your documentation chains. All of that leads to 4 distinct seasons with different episodes in it. And this brings you from getting started with Claude to being an expert in AI-driven software development. How we move from AI Slop to building real software applications with Claude. So people keep asking me, what is vibe coding? Vibe coding is a posture. You prompt and you pray. You find out when it breaks and you have no review, no rollback. The opposite, and this is what we want to achieve, is AI-assisted development. The engineer is in charge. Every change you do is reviewable. Every change is reversible. The tool is just a leverage. It's not the author per se. What we see here is we have the same model, we develop it in the same tools, but the discipline, how we operate it, is fundamentally different. And this is AI-assisted development. Now let's get to a very important topic. What does it actually cost you? We have 3 key tiers, and the cheapest one is the $20 per month tier. It's good for standard usage, and it's the one you will most likely start with. Then we have Claude Max, which is about $100 per month or $200 with higher rate limits. And And finally, you have the pay per token, which is for large teams of builders. At developer rates, any of these tiers breaks even in minutes of save time per month. Just look at this. You have $20 per month divided by your average rate of, let's say, $100 per hour. And within 12 minutes, this would break even. But this is actually not the bar. The bar is simply different. It is the question. What can you achieve with that? What can you achieve with the time you gained now? The money actually buys you a lot. For instance, it's the refactoring you would have postponed for 2 weeks, or it's a test suite you would have skipped because it wasn't worth the time, or the unfamiliar code base you can navigate now in an afternoon. It's not about write the code for you, it gives you the time to take on much more, and this is a really well invested money. Now let's dive straight into VS Code. So this is the environment we are going to work with. VS Code already has a really strong Git integration, so we don't need to extra care about that one. Just ensure that your Git account is connected. Let's have a look how you can use that one. So here is on the side the source control. When you open this one, the Git folder, source control folder is opening up. But before we dive into Git, let's first have a look if Claude is properly installed. Also here we have this extension, which you can see here, and we click on that, and then we immediately see Claude Code is already installed. If it's not installed on your device, please make sure to install it before we continue working here, because you will now need that one. The first thing we're gonna do now is we create a new folder. We do this by opening a folder here, saying this one is under documents dev, and we create a new folder called Git safety. I open up one. What we do now is we open up Claude Code. So here to your right side you see Claude Code, and you can open it. Then you have the chat window. This is the one we will work with over the next couple of series. We're not working with the terminal as of right now, so we keep it there, and we start by telling Claude, hey Claude, please set up this as repo with git ignore. So what Claude then does, it's creating our git ignore and setting up this one as our repo so that you can work with it. If you're not familiar with Git, I would urge you to look into Git first before we continue here, because we need it a lot. So what Claude now does, it has no idea what we're doing here. So we're saying, okay, we'll just create a random Python application. We'll submit the answer. That's then starting us by setting up the repo. It's asking us if this git init is allowed. We say yes, we allow git init here in this case. So as we can see already, we are now in the main branch. After a while, Git is asking for the status. This is the bash command we see here, git safety status. We also click on yes. It says the repo is initialized. The only thing we have in the repo at the moment is a git ignore file, basically listing a lot of files we don't want to see in our Git repo. It's very important that we, for instance, have env variables do not be in there. This is this one, because this is a security issue, so we ensure that they are never being brought into a Git repo. A lot of issues arise from any passwords being stored in env testing for environments, for instance, and then being brought over to Git. This is not good because people can scan the repos and find the passwords. This is what you should avoid. Okay, we now have the repo set up. We can see when we go over to our Git that we are now in the main branch, that we have the git ignore to commit. Let's do the first commit later on. But first we start with a new session, so you don't need to work on the same session all the time. I'll open a new tab, and here is a second Claude Code tab. And I'll say, I want to have a simple Python web app that does email validation. Nothing specific. We don't look at how we prompt correctly. We just want to have a really easy first directory here. Now it starts us by asking what we want to have. We use Flask. This is good enough for it. And we don't do the check here. We tell Claude to only text field being validated if the email is correct. Submit this one as well. Actually, I just want to have a basic HTML file. No rocket science at this time. After a while, Claude is asking us if it can install the requirements, because we have a couple of requirements such as Flask being necessary to install. Click on yes. We also create the virtual environment for Python, and we're ready to go soon. Okay, now Python is up and running and everything is installed, and we should have our email validator up and running. And now we would run this application for the first time. We click on terminal, new terminal, and then we start typing Python 3 app.py, and now our application is running. When we click onto that one, we see here is our email validator. We now say Mario is here. We validate, and it's not a valid email. So we can rest assured that this is a really working first setup. So what we do now is we commit it to Git, because we say, okay, first version is done. We first start the first commit. Ideally, you never commit to main. So I would recommend everyone to have main only for production. So whatever is in production is the main branch. This is a safety net, because you would configure Git to have additional safety checks in order to rest assured that you cannot just destroy your production environment. I would rather do a staging environment where you have your tests, and your test users can go into that, where you also have CI/CD integration. We will learn about this throughout the course. However, I would rather ask you to submit to a dev branch. We don't do it in this setup right now. Say first commit, and we commit this one. So we want to ensure that this one is now in Git, and that we can roll it back in case something goes wrong. So let's stage everything. So we have it now committed to Git. Now let's assume we do break something. Okay, now I want to have a fancy setup where the text input is always trying to escape the user. So it would corrupt the file. I did it on purpose. It will corrupt my project, and I asked Claude to do something fancy where this one is coming up. Already Claude telling us this is fun. Doesn't help us with the user interface. So let's wait until Claude has finished doing that. So after a while, Claude has finished it. It might have asked you a couple of questions in between if it can access stuff. I would say you can click yes here without any issues, because we're not doing any dangerous stuff right now. Let's open the website, and it's like trying to catch me. Okay, the user interface is broken. I can never ever validate my email. So what Claude also tells me here is I can see the diff. So what I can now do is I can see the diff. I would just click the source control editor on this index.html, and here I would see what has changed. The green one is what came to me, and the red one is what moved away. So now let's say this is an issue that's breaking our production environment, and I want to roll it back. Let's have a look at how we can roll it back with the help of Git. So what we do now is we open a new terminal window, and we say git checkout dot. And now we restored everything, and when we rerun, now we are back to how it was before. So we can easily revert that by going back to the previous Git environment. look over to our website and we can see the email validator is back up working. So this is a really important stuff to do. Always work with Git and check in early, check in often. This is my premise because you do produce a lot of code, and if you work on things in parallel, you don't want to break the one or the other thing while doing another thing. And this is costing you a lot of time if things break and you haven't checked in. Just imagine you were doing some work for a couple of hours, prompting your way to a good solution, and finally everything is gone because you did a wrong prompt and bam, it's done. Now let's wrap up this part of our episode. Let's now have a look at what we just learned in this episode. First, branch, commit, restore. That's the entire safety model. 3 Git primitives, that's all you need. Second, 1 task, 1 branch, 1 pull request. The same unit of work for AI as for humans. And third, this is very important, never let Claude touch uncommitted work. If you can throw it away, everything Claude just wrote in 5 seconds, your Git hygiene is the problem, not AI. Let's now have a look at what you can expect from the next class, from episode 2. We look at the same model, same code base, but with 2 different prompts. One will create a really valuable outcome and the other one will create a mess. That's AI Slop. So we'll look into that detail by detail. So ensure to subscribe to the channel and see the updates that will come over the next couple of weeks.